Hello and welcome back to Fallon Moran Radio. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how there's some things that absolutely can make it through and you want to act on. And then there are other things that maybe we don't want to let through and you don't want to act on. So let's dive in. Okay, so I'm actually going to tell you the story of what happened last night because I think that this is huge and it's actually super relevant for so many people in the online space. So basically, last night I was putting the kids to bed and I was sitting in the rocking chair and I legitimately thought to myself, like, it would be so much easier if I just started a brand new Instagram account and if I just, started talking about this from like complete scratch instead of sitting here trying to build out this Instagram account that I've had since literally 2021 and it's not going anywhere and I only have 449 followers and I'm putting up like upwards of 6 reels out per day. Like I legitimately sat there and said to myself, "Oh, I should just start over from scratch." And this is very often something like it's a thought of people for like what they want to actually do to get to the point of success with their Instagram, online business. And like I've done this before. I don't know how many times. And so it's actually it was hilarious to me because I sat there, I was thinking about it, I was watching Penelope start to drift off into sleep, and I was like, "Wait a second. What are you talking about? Like, why is this even something that I'm entertaining?" Because back in 2024, I did actually do that. I started a new Instagram account. I put out 3 reels a day while she was in chemo, and I only saw like 80 followers come in. I was promoting my stuff, had a, Stan Store link in there, and I was like, what am I even doing this for? And then I, got fed up with Instagram and I went over to TikTok, right? So like here's where I'm going with this so that you can start to piece apart like the importance of catching these kinds of thoughts and stopping them in their tracks because more than likely, you have tried this. Odds are, and the only reason why I say this is because odds are you have gone into a course or a boot camp or a program, and somebody who's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to help you grow your Instagram." You've asked them for their support or for their help. And you just kind of like sat back and you were like, you know what? It would probably be 10 times easier for me to restart and start from scratch. Actually, no, it would not be because I've done this before and I can tell you with complete certainty that that is your subconscious mind talking to you to keep you safe because what happens when you start over is you start from scratch again and that's constantly keeping you in the loop of zero visibility, whereas if you actually kept going and you kept posting on your account that might have 449 followers and you're putting out, like 6 reels a day. If you kept posting, then what you'd start to see is you are going to get some more followers. So like you might have heard me clicking around in the beginning of this episode and I actually just pulled up my YouTube dashboard because I've been also simultaneously trying to grow my YouTube platform, my TikTok platform, my Instagram platform, my podcast platform. Like this year is the year that I'm a media production company and I put out everything to grow my audience. Okay. So I went onto YouTube and last week my subscriber base was 2,429 followers. And this week my subscribers are up from 2,429 to 2,438. So I gained 9 subscribers on YouTube over the course of the last like week. If you could also break it down on whatever days that you want. However, my point being when you keep going in one direction, you save yourself more time than if you were to go in another direction. I'm going to reference a past episode. If you are a religious listener of my podcast, you probably tuned into the episode called Understanding the Rat Race. This is exactly that. Okay. Because when you start from scratch, you are still not getting seen by anyone. And whether it's arguable that whether or not you have 0 followers or 449 followers and you're not growing to the places that you want to, what's happening is with 0 followers, you're not going to get seen by very many other people versus with 449, you're going to get seen and your algorithm, your content, they're going to work a certain way. Now, there are creators out there, like I think Brock Johnson actually has a post, or I'm not exactly sure if it's an Instagram post or I think it might even be a Threads post, that if you are looking to restart your Instagram, there are certain things that you want to consider. And you want to consider, like, oh, like, have you not gotten any engagement on this account in however many months or blah, blah, blah. And the thing is when you start posting, even if you haven't posted on that account for a while, you're going to get some engagement. So, like, for example, if I were to pull up my Instagram right now, which I actually think I have in this other section here, if I were to go to my Instagram right now and I were to look at all the numbers and everything, I went from 450 followers down to 449, but I have 573 posts. And comparatively to the other Instagram that I'm referencing, which is the Fallon Moran, that one has 82 or 83 followers. The difference is if people come to my page, they could see, like, oh yeah, I'm dedicated to posting. Like, I am posting a lot. I have a fair amount of posts. I have over 500 posts. And so they'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to follow her here. Right. Now, if you were to look at some of my more recent reels, what I've done is I've actually just kind of, instead of doing more talking to the camera kind of content, I've done more like B-roll kind of content where I'm really working on my hooks. I'm tweaking things to see what my audience likes, what they're not really, so then that way I can get a better idea of, like, okay, well, which direction, what things are working, and with what I'm feeling called to cover, what's going to be the best way to kind of like synthesize this for everyone. So it's been an interesting kind of journey. And if I didn't stay on this account and I went off and I created a new account, God knows what it would be called, I wouldn't be building my personal brand, right? I really wouldn't be consistent with myself. And yes, there's, the piece of, well, I already haven't been consistent with myself because for the last 6 years, I have been creating the new accounts. And guess what? This is a perfect opportunity to catch that thought in its tracks and to stop it and to say, hey, thanks for bringing this up to me. Thanks for making sure that, I'm watching out for myself. Thanks for trying to work in your best interest. And what's actually in your best interest is if you actually just keep going on the path and the journey that you're on, because you're going to get there so much faster because you're trying and testing different things with this account that you're not testing on this new account. And so you're going to know what's going to work and what's not going to work. And like I said, I'm posting upwards of 6 reels a day. So I'm doing 3 on my main feed and then I'm doing 3 trial reels. Like, all of this is in that whole idea of, like, okay, completely unapologetic growth and complete unapologetic going after my online business this year. So I gave myself 90 days. I was like, you know what? I am going to create a product that I know that I feel comfortable and confident with. I'm going to talk about digital products because I have gotten a result with digital products. I made over $2,000, actually over $2,500 in sales in 2021 off of a $2.50 digital product. So I'm going to sell digital products and I'm going to put my own spin on it where I'm talking about the subconscious and I'm talking about, exactly this, catching your sabotaging thoughts, your self-sabotaging thoughts, reframing it. And specifically with what I did the other day, I was kind of, like talking to my inner child where it's like, okay, like, I know that you want something faster and I know that you want something now, and you're not going to get it right now because that's not how life works sometimes. Like, sometimes you need to test and sometimes you need to see what's going to work before it actually starts to pick up steam, right? So, you know, this is where the subconscious tools come in, because there are a lot of people who are going after digital businesses, online businesses, who are looking to sell their digital products. And a lot of people will get discouraged and they'll be like, oh, well, I'm not making it in real estate in my, personal Instagram. Maybe I should just start a specific real estate Instagram. Guess what? When you start a specific real estate Instagram, you're going to run into the same problems because It's just because you started a new account doesn't mean that you're not going to experience the same things. You, as the ultimate creator of the real estate content or of your own personal content, you're going to experience the same difficulties. You're going to experience the same challenges. What's important is that you realize that you're going to experience those same challenges and you find a way to make it work. And the way that you make it work might be a little different than what you might think or what you might want to do. And it will eventually find its way to working the way that you want for it to work. It's just a matter of seeing it through. And I think this is where a lot of people kind of like this is where that the instant gratification piece kind of comes in, where because there's people online who talk about making six figures in 6 months, they're like, oh, well, I should be making more money by now, or I should be making digital product sales by now, or I should be blah, 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 whatever. You're shooting on yourself. Okay. I'm pretty sure I have a podcast episode someplace in the past on this. When you're shooting on yourself, you're trying to force a timeline that doesn't exist and will not exist because you're making yourself feel bad about this. What we want to consider is when we're approaching things from a place of patience and of true intention and of, okay, this is what I really feel called to share. This is what I really feel called to do. I am speaking authentically and I am going to go for it, right? There's a difference because when you have that instant gratification, that detachment isn't there versus the person who's like, this is what I feel called to share. This is what I feel like is authentically on my heart, on my mind, and what I want to do. That detachment is there. It doesn't matter how many people it reaches. What matters is that the message gets out. The message is the most important thing to get out. And so it doesn't necessarily look like going viral instantly. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that the message is there versus the person who's looking for that virality, the person who's looking for the audience growth, the person who's looking for, like, I just want this to happen a little faster and to get a little further. It's not going to happen because you're not detached from it. And I just felt really super called to share this because it's an actual story. Like I was actually in the rocking chair thinking about this the other night. And I'm like, no, this is just my subconscious mind trying to protect me by having me look another way. It's avoidance, whatever you want to call it. It's distraction, right? And we want to remain focused on our path and we want to remain consistent because when I can see that thought, right? When I could see that thought and then also translate it to my message and my movement, which is success is not external to you, success is found within, then guess what? I actually just lived that myself. I did it. I just did it because instead of me going after the thing that would give me the external validation, the external, oh yeah, I'm getting more followers or I'm getting more sales, I'm like, no, hold on, just because this isn't happening at the pace that I want it to, does not mean that this isn't happening. For all I know, there are people who are tuning into my reels currently right now in my audience of 449 that are getting moved by this message, who are experiencing some kind of shifts. And I would be doing myself and them a disservice by not continuing on in this direction. And so it is important for me to keep posting on this page because this is where my audience is. This is where I'm creating that movement. And this is where that change and that shift is going to happen. Consider that. All right. I want to thank you for tuning in and listening to this quick episode that's, kind of quick. It's like 14, 15 minutes. And I also want to encourage you to leave a rating and review if you have not left one already. Ratings and reviews are what help the podcast grow and reach new listeners. So I want to encourage you to do that. I also I see the statistics coming in every week and every week it's always a little bit more than the week before. So I want to thank you for tuning in and listening as loyally as you are. And again, I would so appreciate if you left a rating and review so that I can spotlight you and we can have an episode for what review you left. I would super appreciate that. Okay. I want to thank you for tuning in. If you're on YouTube and you're watching this video, comment podcast down below because then I'll know how many of my YouTube viewers are watching the video podcast. And trust me, one day this is going to look different. It's really just a matter of okay, I need to actually dedicate, a half hour of time to my podcast studio. and actually work on the background of my camera. Last thing that I want to cover really fast is breakthrough sessions. I currently have 4 breakthrough days left at $1. I would encourage you that if you're interested that you sign up in my Stand store because that is how you're going to be able to fill out the availability. I am going to update my availability now that I'm talking about this so that you can see times over the weekends just in case you can't do it anytime during the week, and then that way you can sign it up. It is $1. 8 hours of a breakthrough for $1, and there's 4 spots left. This is only gonna go on until the end of February. At the end of February, it's gonna bump up, okay? So, I wanna encourage you to hop on this now because don't say I didn't tell you so. Breakthrough days are pretty epic and amazing, and, you're gonna have so many shifts that your brain is gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I see it like that now." Like, "Oh my gosh, this makes so much sense." So encouraging you to do it. It's totally on you. I'll put the link down in the show notes. And okay, thanks for tuning in. Talk to you soon. Okay, thanks. Love you. Bye.